Okay. How you guys doing? Nash Warfield here with Significantly Square Leadership, another episode. And today I have the privilege to be with Brad Muniz. Is that how you pronounce it?
The Anglo way is Muniz. The Spanish way is Muniz.
Okay. Muniz. Okay, very good. He is a partner with the accounting firm of Sobel Co. And so, Brad, why don't you tell me a little about what you do here at that firm?
I'm partner in charge of accounting and auditing, which means that I oversee the accounting and auditing practice, make sure the quality of the engagements that are running are done properly, to ensure that we have the adequate staffing, along with one of our managers who really helps facilitate the whole process, and also ensure that engagements are run smoothly in general. We have a lot of people that oversee all the engagements just to ensure that our proper process is going along. Also, business development is one of our main focuses. Second, of course, to quality and client service.
Awesome. So speaking of clients, who are your major clients? Who do you look to serve?
We mainly serve the privately held business community. Okay. We do handle some SEC type of registrants, broker-dealers, but our main focus on our commercial side are privately held entities. Those are businesses that are closely held by a group or a very small group of individuals that are very focused on the growth of their business and how it impacts them. Okay. We have a very significant nonprofit practice, which I don't get as involved with, but as a firm, we are very philanthropic. We give back to the community our time, our money, our services in many different ways. And it's evidenced by the size of our audit practice that we have in the nonprofit community.
Awesome.
And we provide similar services. The significant focus or attention that we give is consultative nature. The business owners, they're really focused on how they can grow and improve their business, and operationally, financially. And that's just not limited to the commercial. The nonprofit organizations we don't deal with the March of Dimes or those large Salvation Army type of organizations. We're dealing with local community-based organizations that are usually driven by a board of volunteers that are giving their time, and often they're looking to us for direction. Now, we can't make management decisions, but we can give them guidance based on what we see within their organization, what we've seen in other organizations. Okay. And that's some of the value that we try and bring to these organizations, just give them some sort of guidance. They have to make the ultimate decisions, but we're trying to give them as much information for them to be able to make those decisions.
Definitely. So obviously, nonprofits are, a huge tenet of trying to make a difference in the world. Obviously, their end goal is to make a difference for whatever community they're serving, whether it be the elderly or whether it be at-risk youth, whether it be people with different diseases, cancer, what have you. So is there a certain way that you guys choose who you decide to work with, from a nonprofit standpoint, or is it just like if they have a need, you're willing to work with them?
More if they have a need. Okay. We don't focus on any particular areas. There are areas where we have strengths in, but we service, as you said, distressed youths that have needs, physical limitations, any other type of dependencies. We go across the board, but we do have some certain specialties, low-income housing, HUD type of developments. We do have a specialty in that. We have schools, some private, not the district schools, but private schools we handle. One of those, or two of those, are schools with children with cerebral palsy. Okay. And then we also have some other private schools in more affluent communities, but it's not that we're focusing on any particular area right.
Okay. So talk to me a little bit, about accounting, because I'm not a numbers guy. I never was a numbers guy, but actually, Department of Labor. Actually, when I speak at high schools, I talk to students about this, like the 4 hottest growing fields for the next 10, 15 years. You got obviously healthcare with the aging population. You got education with teachers retiring. You got technology because technology is always changing. But accounting actually is the fourth fastest growing field where the most jobs will be in the next 10 to 15 years. So talk to me about like why accounting is such a great field, because why everybody needs an accountant or a good accountant. But what attracted you to the accounting field?
What's interesting, when I graduated college in 1988, I said to my wife, she was a business major, I was an accounting major, and I said, I feel I can get a job anywhere doing anything. And she said, well, that's pretty cocky. And I said, no, I'm not being cocky at all. I'm actually humble. I said, I just feel that accounting the education has trained me that I feel I can fit into different buckets.
Right.
And that's what attracts students, and that's why accounting continues to grow, because people come into, especially public accounting, and they get a lot of different experience in different areas, and it's very portable. They can take, and not that we're encouraging people to leave our organization or the industry, but it's very portable that they can take those skills in many different places.
Right.
So it attracts a lot of students. Unfortunately, because of the government oversight, regulations come in. Anytime that happens, that expands jobs. You have the PCOB, you have the GAO, or other government organizations, IRS, of course, that make things more difficult, that require more intellect, and of course more in capacity of a number of people to be able to handle the situations.
Right.
That's one of the big reasons that companies continue to grow. Unfortunately, a lot of times when companies do have hard times, what they try and do is, okay, we're going to cut down on the accounting staff. And I've seen it. I've gone through probably 3 different recessions, since during my career. Each time I see accounting staff cut down in some way.
Right.
But it's never cut down to the point where it's negative growth. It goes from a double digit to a very low single digit.
Right.
So it continues to grow, and then when they come out, which we had in 2010, we came out around 2010, and people are struggling, then they start pulling a lot more. And we're still feeling, at this point, we're still seeing the need for people where they've cut back over in the early, around 2010, 2008 time frame.
Okay.
So that's why we see it. And I guess as an industry person, I have to thank the regulations for creating more jobs, and the students should like it too. And I tell students all the time, there are jobs out there. I have a son. My youngest is in college still, and he's not accounting.
Right.
None of my kids went for accounting.
Right.
But I always tell them there are jobs, and I can help them get jobs, and that's why I always encourage people to go for accounting, because there are jobs out there. Of course, you see a student that can't get a job, and you have the hard comment that you have to make to him is, maybe it's you. I'm sorry to say, but I see a lot of jobs. Some people just aren't good interviewers.
Sure. Definitely. Yeah. So, it's obviously, this whole piece is about being significant, living a life of significance. And clearly, just from, your resume, I mean, the number of boards that you've been on, whether it's, the family intervention services or, numerous nonprofits, the Raoul Wallenberg Foundation. So, all these ways that you've been involved with philanthropy and giving back. So what does that mean to you to live a life of significance, and why is it important for you to make a difference in the world?
I guess it's part of the way I was brought up, from just...
So where were you brought up, actually?
I was born and raised in Lodi, New Jersey.
Okay.
Very blue-collar town. My father was a shop manager. My mother was a bookkeeper, which is part of the reason I went into accounting.
Right.
But my father had MS, and I always remember any games he could come to, he would come, with his cane and everything. But my mother was always there and selling hot dogs at the game, and she was always involved. And I took that away. That okay, you have to give back.
Right.
That's what started driving me, and that's why I try and instill in my children too. And so what is difficult is finding out. You said significance. Living life is significance. What's difficult is defining, life or significance. And what is significance? I've thought about this a lot. And is it significant to me, or is it significant to your community that you're in, or are they one and the same? Right. And if I think about it, I have many communities that I have to serve. I have my business community, and I have my local, where I live, my community. I have my family community, and you have to be significant and feel that you're significant within those different communities. So I have to feel I'm servicing my clients with significance towards them, and they define significance.
Right.
And I've got to feel that symbiotic relationship of I'm finding that significance too. So am I providing them with the value of what they need, not just monetarily, but providing them the insight and information.
Sure.
And then I go to my family, and my kids were younger. I was at any time I could. I was at their games. I was at their special events.
Right.
Even though I was working till 10 o'clock at night, I take time to go to because that was what was significant to them.
Right.
And if they felt it was significant, I felt it was significant too.
Right.
And then I go to my community and listed the boards that I'm on or have been on, and I just feel that you have to give back to the community in some way.
Right.
Anyway, whatever way that you feel is important. And I got into a big debate with one of my friends one night at a party because they said that nobody's participating in a high school fundraiser.
Okay.
And they don't care, and they literally said they don't care about their kids. And I said, well, I'm not participating in that.
Right.
So does that mean I don't care about my kids?
Right.
However, I've been on the zoning board for 10 years. That's how I'm giving back to my community.
Right.
That's how I feel my competencies are best suited.
Sure.
Not for a high school fundraiser type of thing. I'm not good with that. If you found something else for me to do, because in order, if you want me to be able to give back to you, to be significant to you, I've got to feel it inside too. I have to have that.
Got to be passionate about it. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And and it's interesting you raise this question because I haven't thought about it. My middle one just graduated college, and over the past year, I've been trying to find my significance because the kids are getting older. They're out, and that block is gone.
Sure.
And I'm trying to find what is going to replace that. Believe it or not, anytime you dig a hole in the sand always fills in.
Right.
I just felt the sand hasn't completely filled in that spot.
Right.
When does that ever happen? I guess the sand is wet.
Right. Yep.
So I'm trying to find that, and one of the things that I'm actually focusing on right now, I said my father had multiple sclerosis, and I'm trying to work my way to serving on the board of a multiple sclerosis society because that has a personal impact to me, and I have the passion. If they have the need for the significance, I hope to be able to make that connection.
Yeah, and that's huge that you said that, Brad, because when I talk to students a lot, and I talked about community service, I say you got to do something that you're passionate about. You don't go work with dogs if you don't like animals. Don't go work with I don't know, cleaning up an environment, or if you don't care anything about the environment. So if you're going to make a difference, it's got to be in an area that really means something to you. Like I said, you've got that personal story with your dad having MS, so that's a natural fit to work on a board with MS. But yeah, whatever it is, it's got to be something that means something to you in your heart.
And that's what I encourage. My middle daughter was a student athlete, but was also a Girl Scout Gold Award recipient. And I've encouraged her many times, 21-year-old isn't thinking about this type of stuff. I've encouraged her many times to go talk to Girl Scouts about succeeding all the way to a Girl Scout Gold Award recipient and being a student athlete, that they can be done. Because Girl Scouts have a good mission. Keep that moving forward. And keep these children involved in this. So they say encourage others.
Because wherever you are, they're a role model for kids coming behind them. So,
exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So obviously there's the piece of significance, but there's also the piece of being a square. And we say the square has four sides. So for you, and obviously you've held various leadership positions, including past president of the New Jersey Society of CPAs. Right? So what would you say are your four most important qualities or values of a leader? Like what makes a really, really strong leader? What would you say the four most important qualities are to you?
In no particular order, I would say it's 2 D's and 2 E's. Develop, direct, encourage, and empower. The one problem I see with a lot of leaders is they don't develop the future leaders. I was very involved in a lot of political stuff over the years, and I see I'm not going to espouse on term limitation or anything.
Different channel.
And you can go one side or the other.
That's right.
But we have an elected official that's been an elected official for 30 years because nobody else can do it. Well, that means that you have not developed the future leaders.
Right. That's right.
And that's even within our organization, a nonprofit organization. a high school team. The senior is going to be the captain. Who is your next captain? You always have to be considering who are your future leaders. You have to develop.
Right.
You have to direct. You're directing the organization, the company, the group, the team. You're directing them in the direction that is the mission of the organization. When I was president of the New Jersey Society of CPAs, past presidents used to come in, and they always had a theme of where they were going. And I was talking with Don Meyer, the director of marketing, and he said, well, "What's your theme going to be?" And I said, "I'm not really big on themes like that." He's like, "Well, which direction are you going?" I said, well, "Which direction is the society going?"
So we're talking about leadership and your 4 qualities. So we have developed and then direct.
Develop, direct. The next one is empower. You're going to have people that you are developing. You have to empower them.
Right.
I see people all the time put into positions and they're not given the authority to make changes. And you have to empower them and hold them accountable as part of that empowerment.
Right.
And then the final piece is encourage. Coincidentally, it's something that I've always believed in, and fortunately I joined the firm, and before I even knew joining the firm, the core values of the firm are encourage, it's different words, all spelled out using those letters.
Right.
Because I believe that you can empower somebody, but if you don't encourage them, you could say, okay, go ahead, do it, but that's not much. You've got to help them, give them the direction again, and encourage them along the way, because they're going to stumble, they're going to fall, they're going to lose steam. You've got to help get them back up and keep them motivated, and they keep you motivated too. Anthony, who's a friend of yours, manager here, and he keeps me going as much as hopefully I keep him going. Because if it wasn't for the people that are around me, that surround me, or I surround with them, the big circle that we are, that's what keeps this tornado spinning.
Sure. Definitely. Awesome. So we got the 4 sides. So we got develop leaders, direct, empower, and encourage. I like it. Sounds good.
2 E's.
Fantastic. Well, Brad, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for being a significant square. Keep going out and making it happen. And we will see you on the next episode of Significantly Square Leadership. Nash Warfield, nashwarfield.com. Here with, that's right. Be a square. I like it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.